The movie begins with two customs officers walking in a seaport. They walk past some workers and permit them from keeping the lights on as they walk. The officers arrive at a crate and meet another officer, who informs them that the crate he's standing in front of has a foul smell. The officers open the crate and see it's full of human hair. One officer informs the others that the hair is used to produce hair extensions that women wear. While talking, one of the officers gets a call and begins flirting with a girl on the phone. As he flirts, a girl appears in the crate and is tangled in the hair. She frightens the officers, who call the police as they run away. Meanwhile, Yamazaki, a night watchman at a morgue, gets info from his coworker that something amazing is coming from the harbor the next day. His coworker leaves, and Yamazaki begins going through the hairs of all the women in the morgue. He finds a woman with beautiful hair, and as he sniffs it, all the other women stare at him. Yuko is asleep on her table and her roommate Yuki wakes her up. Yuko looks at the time and sees that she has to get to work immediately. She tells Yuki goodbye, gets on her bicycle, and rides to work. Yuko gets to the hair salon she works at named Gilda Rice and meets her co-workers. Their boss informs the workers that they should finish their clients' hair faster so the clients can get on with their day. Meanwhile, Kiyomi, Yuko's elder sister, walks with her daughter Mommy. Mommy asks her why she isn't going to school, and her mom tells her to keep walking. At the morgue, some doctors examine the body they found in the harbor. They open the girl's stomach and find more hair in it. They see that all her organs have been illegally harvested, and Yamazaki takes her body away when they're done. He gets excited when he arrives at the storage unit and sees that hair is growing from the girl's eyes, mouth, and head. Yuko arrives at home that night and asks what's for dinner. Yuki tells her to be quiet and shows her that Mommy is asleep. She reads a letter, and Yuko realizes that Mommy is Kiyomi's daughter. Yuko calls Kiyomi, who is in a club, and Kiyomi asks her to watch over Mommy. Mommy apologizes for being a burden and informs them she'll behave till Kiyomi takes her home. Yamazaki steals the body from the morgue and takes it to his house. Inside his house, he has various types of hair hanging and sees that the body's hair has grown even longer. Meanwhile, Yuko wakes up and checks on Mommy. Yuko sees bruises on Mommy's leg as she adjusts her blanket, and Mommy wakes up. Yuko asks Mommy to show her her body, and she tries to run away. Yuki grabs Mommy and sees bruises on her back. They then realize that Kiyomi has been abusing Mommy, and Mommy runs away from them. Yamazaki talks to the officers in the morgue, and they ask him where the girl's body is. He tells them it was stolen, and one of the officers gets angry and attacks him, but the other officer calms him down. Yuko gives Mommy her card and leaves for work. That night, Kiyomi arrives at Yuko's house, and Mommy opens the door. She pushes Mommy around and takes some of Yuko's clothes. She takes a drink from the fridge and sits on the couch. Yuki arrives at home and sees Kiyomi. She tells her to leave the house, but Kiyomi refuses and breaks a cup. Yuko gets home and asks Kiyomi what she's doing in her house. Kiyomi gets up and tries to leave with Mommy, but Yuko and Yuki don't let her. Kiyomi insults Yuko and makes her feel bad for terminating her pregnancy. She continues insulting Mommy and Yuko and calls her selfish. Kiyomi agrees to leave Mommy with Yuko, and Yuko stops her from leaving with her clothes. Mommy cries as she kneels and begs Yuko not to hit her. Yuko calms her down and assures her that no one will beat her again. Meanwhile, Yamazaki watches as the corpse's hair gets longer and grows from her injuries. He cuts them and takes them to a hair salon to sell as hair extensions. The stylist sees the hair and sees that the quality is very good. She then puts the extensions on and works on a customer. The customer sees the hair and commends it for its good quality. The hair suddenly enters the stylist's ear, and she begins to see the girl's memories. She sees people who sell organs take the girl and they shave her head. The stylist stabs the customer's ear with scissors and eliminates the woman. The girl's hair begins to grow rapidly, and Yamazaki celebrates. He then watches the news, and the reporter talks about the stylist who eliminated her customer and then herself. Then realizes that the corpse is responsible for the death and says she's amazing. Mommy watches as Yuko practices her hair styling. She works in her styling shop the following day, and Mommy tries to style Yuko's hair but ends up destroying most of her mannequins and the hair. Mommy begins to cry and makes her way to Yuko's shop. As she walks on the street, Yamazaki stares at women and sees that Mommy's hair is beautiful. He follows her to Yuko's shop, and they see Yuko. He commends Yuko's hair and tells her how beautiful it is. He apologizes for interrupting the stylists and walks out of the store. The boss gives Yuko some time to sort out Mommy, and Yuko takes Mommy home. In the cab driver tells Yuko that a mother should never hit her child, and Yuko enters the house. Inside, Yuko sees that all her mannequins are destroyed, and she tells Mommy not to touch anything. Mommy cries, and Yuko calms her down. She then instructs Mommy not to go anywhere and eat when she gets hungry. Yamazaki watches the videos he made of Mommy and Yuko, and he dances in his house. He then gets dressed, takes some of the girl's hair, and leaves the house. He arrives at Yuko's salon and shows them the hair, and they see that it's high-quality hair. He takes the hair out of a birdcage and offers the hair as free samples. Yamazaki continues to commend Yuko's hair and tells the stylist he'll be back with more hair the next day. Yuko's boss informs her to get her personal life in order to be a better hairstylist. Yuko gets home and sees that Mommy has arranged the entire house. She thanks Mommy and begins to teach her how to be free and not be afraid of everyone. Yuko also gives Mommy a new jacket, and they begin to bond. Meanwhile, one of the stylists sleeps in her house and gets attacked by her hair. She walks to the bathroom and sees hair growing from her eye and a bruise on her finger. She gets scared and begins to see the girl's memories and how she was caught as she tried to escape. The woman runs to her living room, but her hair spreads and slams her to the floor. The hair enters her body, moves inside her, and comes out of her mouth and eyes. The following day, Yuko and Yuki leave Mommy in the house and go to work. That night, Kiyomi arrives at the house and apologizes to Mommy. She gets Mommy to open the door, and once she does, she hits her and continues acting rude. Kiyomi goes around the house and wrecks all the things around her. She takes some of Yuko's clothes and belongings and leaves with Mommy. Kiyomi takes Mommy to her house, where she and her boyfriend beat her. Kiyomi puts her in a closet and checks out the items she got from Yuko's house. Her boyfriend sees hair growing out of his hand, and it begins slashing everyone in the house like blades. Mommy steps out of the closet and jumps off the balcony before the hair can attack her. Yuko rushes to a hospital, and the nurse informs her that Mommy sustained minor injuries. The officers get her attention and take her to identify her sister's body. Yuko goes to see Mommy, and Mommy tells them that a hair monster attacked them. Yamazaki celebrates in his house as the hair grows even longer. Later, Yuko sees Mommy and begins to teach her how to cut hair. She takes Mommy to bed, and Mommy asks her why she loves cutting hair. Yuko explains that she watched as her mother was transformed into a beautiful woman each time she got a haircut, and she instantly fell in love. Meanwhile, the officers realize that all the hair has the same DNA, and they match with the girl from the shipping crate. Yuko, Yuki, and Mommy arrive at the salon, and Yuko decides to use Mommy as her cut model. They begin their training workshop but get interrupted by the officers who come in to question them regarding the hair extensions that Yamazaki brought. Yuko finishes styling Mommy's hair, and her boss asks all the cut models to return to their homes. The boss informs the stylists that one of their customers who had the extension on died after leaving the salon, and Yuko realizes she used the extension on Mommy's hair. The stylists inform the officers of Yamazaki's name, and Yuko decides to rush home and check on Mommy and Yuki. Yuki helps Mommy as she practices her styling, and they receive a fax from the fax machine. As Yuki eats, hair suddenly emerges from the fax machine and the air conditioner. Yuki notices the large amount of hair in the room, and she takes Mommy to a different room. The hair follows them to the next room and attacks Mommy and Yuki. Yuko arrives and opens the front door. She sees a lot of hair and forces her way into the house. She arrives at where Yuki and Mommy are and realizes that the hair has eliminated Yuki. She tries releasing Mommy from the hair, but it attacks and grabs her. As it's about to eliminate her, Yamazaki arrives and commands it to leave her. The officers arrive at Yamazaki's house and see that it's full of hair. They walk around the house, and as they see the girl from the crate, they get attacked by the hair. Yamazaki drives to his house with Yuko and Mommy in his car. He enters his house and sees the officers are trapped in the hair. He laughs at them and insults them for always giving him a hard time as he worked at the morgue. He begins hitting one of the officers, and the officer dies. Yamazaki mocks the officer for dying so easily, and he continues walking around the house. He then commends Yuko and Mommy for having the best hair he's come across, and Yuko confronts him. He informs her of how the girl suffered when she was alive and had her eye and organs removed and sold. The trapped officer begs Yamazaki to stop what he's doing. Yamazaki then grabs some hair and eliminates the officer with it. Yamazaki reveals that he has hair on his tongue. Yuko tries to fight him, and she cuts him with some broken glass. Hair gushes out of his injury, but he stops it and continues attacking Yuko. Mommy gets up and yells at him, and he rushes to her. He uses a scissor to cut her hair, and blood flows from the cut. As Yamazaki laughs with the bloody scissors, the corpse gets up and associates him with one of the bad guys who was smiling as they cut her open. She then makes hair grow all over Yamazaki's body, and as he tries to attack Yuko, the girl dismembers him. After he is eliminated, the girl is at peace because she feels she has gotten her revenge. All the hair returns to her, and she reverts to a normal girl. Yuko and Mommy escape the house and sit on a beach. Mommy asks Yuko if their experience will make her hate hair, but Yuko says it just made her stronger. Yuko suggests that Mommy live with her forever, and Mommy happily agrees.